Guys, my name is Sarthak and today we are going to learn a chapter of class 7th, nutrition in plants. So first of all, we are going to discuss what is nutrition. Now basically, for a day-to-day energy, if you need energy, you have to eat the food, you have to drink water. So basically, nutrition is a basic word which describes the process of gaining energy from different sources. Now there are two types of modes of nutrition in plants. The first mode is autotrophic nutrition and second mode is heterotrophic nutrition. We are going to discuss further in depth about autotrophic and heterotrophic. But first of all, in autotrophic nutrition, what does that mean? Autotrophic nutrition means that any plant which produces their own energy by making their own food is known as autotrophic. Now basically plants do so, and the example of such plants are, if you can see in your day-to-day life, you can see an apple tree. It produces its own energy and produces fruits out of it. The fruit is a storage of energy in a plant. So basically you can see other plants as well. You can see a sunflower, you can see a neem plant, you can see an olive plant. These all plants are autotrophic plants because they produce their own energy, they produce their own food. Now basically, how does they produce their own food? The process of producing their own food is known as photosynthesis. Now in photosynthesis, what basically happens is, there is a plant which is in presence of sunlight, it is having a sufficient amount of water and it is also having sufficient amount of carbon dioxide nearby here. So basically the process takes place like this: carbon dioxide plus water in presence of light and chlorophyll. Now what is chlorophyll? It is a green pigment present in leaves of plant which helps them to produce energy. So carbon dioxide plus water in presence of light and chlorophyll gives carbohydrates plus oxygen. Now oxygen is the most beneficial substance which we get out of it, and the carbohydrates which plant gets for production while producing the energy, they get carbohydrates which they can consume further. Now if we can see the chemical formula, we can see 6 carbon dioxide plus 6 H2O gives 6H12O6, which is a formula of energy, plus 6 O2 plus energy, which have been given out. Now C6H12O6 can also be defined as glucose. Sugar can also be written as C6H12O6. Now basically, now we are going to talk about factors affecting the rate of photosynthesis. Now we have discussed about the photosynthesis, like carbon dioxide and water in presence of light and chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is present, a green pigment present in plant, gives carbohydrates plus oxygen. Now basically the factors which affect the rate of photosynthesis. Now I am seeing that if I give more light to a plant, will I get more energy? Will I get the rate of photosynthesis will go higher or lower? Now basically, if a plant gets more and more light, it is going to produce more and more energy. This is the proportionality constant for photosynthesis. Now even if you provide more carbon dioxide, it is going to produce more and more rate of photosynthesis. It is going to increase the rate of photosynthesis. Now basically what happens is, if you give carbon dioxide in a sufficient amount of rate, if you increase the rate of carbon dioxide you provide to a plant, now at a particular time what is going to happen? The plant is going to absorb a constant amount of carbon dioxide. That point is known as saturation point. You have to keep that in mind, because in examination you will be asked what is saturation point. What is saturation point? The rate at which the rate of carbon dioxide becomes constant while plant is consuming is known as saturation point. Now after that we are going to talk about water. If I am going to supply more water to a plant, then also rate of photosynthesis is going to increase. If I give lack of water, if I give decreased amount of water to a plant, then what is going to happen is rate of photosynthesis is going to decrease. Now temperature. Talking about temperature, if I am going to increase the temperature, then rate of photosynthesis is going to increase, and if I decrease the temperature, then rate of photosynthesis is going to decrease. Now basically we have talked about autotrophic plants, the plants which produce their own energy, and the process is known as photosynthesis to produce their own energy. Now we are going to talk about heterotrophic nutrition. What is heterotrophic nutrition? Heterotrophic nutrition is a form of nutrition which plants get out of another source. From other plants, they can get from insects, they can get from a host. There are different type of heterotrophic nutrition which involves saprotrophic nutrition, parasitic nutrition and insectivorous nutrition. Now basically here we are going to discuss this deeply. Now first of all I am going to revise the definition of heterotrophic nutrition. So what is heterotrophic nutrition? Heterotrophic nutrition is a mode of nutrition which plants get out of different sources. They can't produce their own energy. They get the energy out of different sources. Is known as heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now first of all we are going to talk about saprotrophic nutrition. Now what is saprotrophic nutrition? The type of nutrition which plants get out of dead and decaying plant is known as saprotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay, now there is an example. The good example is mushroom. We all have seen mushrooms. Now what basically happens, you must have observed where does mushroom grow. A mushroom grows nearby tree only. They don't grow near in a open grass area. You won't be finding a tree of mushroom. You won't be finding a land of mushroom. You will be finding mushrooms growing nearby tree. Now why does that happen? The reason that happens is because basically mushroom takes the nutrition from dead and decaying organisms which are grown nearby tree, and they also depend upon other insects also, the dead and decaying part of insects, and then they consume their energy out of it. Now parasitic mode of nutrition. Now what is parasitic mode of nutrition? There are some plants which are having a symbiotic relationship. Now what is symbiotic relationship? It is a relationship between two type of organisms. They understand each other and they help out each other, is known as symbiotic relationship in terms of science. Okay, now basically cascata is a plant which is involved in parasitic mode of nutrition. Basically what happens is it becomes a host. Now it is going to go to another plant and then he is going to make its host, and once he makes its host, then he is going to consume energy out of it, and in return he is going to give out something which it needs. Okay, so basically this is a parasitic mode of nutrition and it involves a symbiotic type of relationship. Now the last thing which we are going to talk in this unit is insectivorous nutrition. There is a plant which is known as pitcher plant. You can search for a YouTube video for it. You will be finding a pitcher plant is a plant which is in a shape of a oval shape, which is having an open mouth. If an organism, if an insect, a pest is going to come inside the tunnel of the plant, then what is going to happen, he is going to close the needle, he is going to squeeze his body, and then he is going to take out nutrition from the insects, and basically it involves the make of pest. Okay, now basically bee can be there can be flies which can be captured in insectivorous plant, and the example of insectivorous plant is pitcher plant. Thank you very much. Today we have done a full chapter. Now we'll see you in the next class.